This lesson corresponds to Kittel and Hoffer's chapter 48 on the Nifal prefix. This is the verse for this unit. Let's begin by pronouncing Velo Yishama Ba Od Kol Bechi. Velo Yishama Ba Od Kol Bechi. Most of the sentences of this sentence we can do quite easily, beginning with velo, simply the negative and not. Ba, this is the bet preposition plus the third feminine singular object suffix, meaning in her or in it. Od, of course, means again or yet. Kol means voice or sound. And bechi, from the root bacha, meaning weeping. So the only thing remaining then is our verb yishama. So let's parse yishama. The root is fairly obvious here. It's shin mem ayin. The form is also clear. Here we have a yod prefix. We have no prefix complement. So we're looking at a prefix form that is third masculine singular with no special features. So we can get everything but the stem simply from the root plus the prefix yishama. The stem is a little more complicated. If you look here at the vowel under the prefix, this is our standard hirek, which typically indicates a cow, yif code. However, there are two features here that are not cow. The first is this kametz under the first root radical. If this were cow, we would expect a shva, yishma. Here we have yishama. The second feature is the dagesh in the first root radical. And this is not something that we see in the cow. So these three features together are known as the Nifal triangle, and they indicate the Nifal. So the meaning of Shema in the cow is to hear. So in the Nifal, to be heard. So then we would translate, and it will be heard, or he will be heard. So at this point we can translate our verse, and then we can talk a little more about the nifal. So velo yishama ba od kol bechi, and a sound of weeping will not be heard in her again. Velo yishama, and it will not be heard in her again. And then the subject kol bechi, the sound of weeping. Let's talk a little further then about the nifal. We can start with the affix, which we've learned already. The affix is simply the root with a nun preformative. This is the indicator of the nifal in the affix, is a nun preformative. So for our strong root pkad, our form would be nifkad, and meaning he was visited, passive voice, passive sense of the cow. The prefix form then is our root pkad, and then what we're adding to pkad in the prefix is actually yin. That is, we're adding the yod, which is the usual prefix for the prefix form, third masculine singular, but we're also adding a nun preformative. So what we're really doing when we create the nifal prefix is we're creating the form yin paked. That is, we've got the root pkad and plus the nifal preformative nun plus the prefix letter yod, yin paked. Of course, looking at this form, you realize that what you have is a nun situated over a silent shva, and that is going to assimilate. So our form yipakade is a prefix plus the assimilated performative of the nun. Yinpakade becomes yipakade. Here you see the nun which has been assimilated. That's the nun performative of the nifal. This means he will be visited. Here we see the three characteristic features of the nifal prefix. This is called the nifal triangle. It's the hirek under the prefix, the dagesh in the first root radical, and the kamates under the first root radical. When you see these three features clustered together like this, you're looking at a nifal triangle, which means you are looking at a nifal prefix. Okay, now we can look at the nifal prefix, the full paradigm for our strong root. Here's the form we just learned, yipakade. Notice that the theme vowel between the second and third root radicals is a tsere. So yipakade. Here's our nifal triangle, the hirek under the prefix, the dagesh in the first root radical, and the kamates under the first root radical. So yipa is the nifal triangle, and then kade is the theme vowel, yipakade. Now we can simply take that pattern and run it through the paradigm, and everything pretty much comes out as expected. So yipakade, tipakade, tipakade, tipakadi, epakade, yipakadu, tipakadna. Notice this A-class vowel, which is a little bit unexpected. Tipakadna. Tipakadu, tipakadna, nipakade. Notice in every case we have the nifal triangle. It's slightly different in the first common singular because of the segol under the aleph, but that is familiar to us from the cow as well. Nifal triangle in all of these forms. So this little triangle is the key to recognizing the nifal prefix. Now we can look at some weak forms of the nifal prefix. These are irregular forms, but they're pretty much entirely predictable. So the most obvious one is first guttural. Here you can imagine what the problem is with this aleph, which won't accept the dagesh of the nifal triangle. So instead we end up with ye amer. Here we have the hirek has compensatorily lengthened to a tsere to account for the lack of a dagesh in the aleph. So yipakade, strong, ye amer, first aleph. A second possible weak type of root is the first nun. These are weak, as we've seen in other stems like the cow, but in the nifal it's actually entirely regular. So nagad becomes yinagade. This dagesh is the nun of the nifal performative, and then the nun that you see there is the root letter nun. So nagad, yinagade. Here we have a first yod. This is actually a true first vav. These roots in the nifal are yivaled. So here our yod has reverted to a vav and is now functioning as a consonant with a dagesh. So yalad becomes yivaled. Finally, the third hey is actually entirely regular, yibaneh. The only thing to notice is this segol hey, but this is actually the same as in other third hey forms as well. So the kal is yivneh, the nifal is yibaneh. So that's it for the nifal prefix. Given that, you should be able to work out the other forms. So keep it up, and I will see you in class.